Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, or hi, my name is Stacy if you're new here. So for today's video, we're doing my Sephora VIB sale haul. I didn't haul too much, but specifically this is both a haul and a review video of the new Rare Beauty Tinted Moisturizer, and I also do an 8-hour wear test of this baby, and then I also review, swatch, and do this eye look with the new Patrick Ta Rose palette. So if you want to just get ready with me and see the things that I picked up during the sale, as well as my reviews of these two new hot items, then just keep on watching. But before we get into it, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you want to see more content like this, because it really helps out my channel and it would really mean a lot to me. And let's just get right into the video. Okay, before we get into it, do you guys notice anything different about me today? I'm wearing these colored contacts. They just came in today. They're the Olens Vivi Ring Brown contact lens. They're super natural and I really like how they look. Anyway, and then on my lips right now I have some of the Tower 28 Pistachio Milky Lip Jelly, I think it's called. This lip gloss is really good if you want a non-sticky, nourishing feeling gloss. And also this Pistachio shade is a new shade. And I didn't pick this up during the sale, but I figured since it's new, you guys might be interested in it. And I really like it. It's actually my favorite shade out of the lip glosses that Tower 28 has. This is like the perfect pinky nude shade. So anyway, I'm wearing that on my lips right now since they're a little bit dry. So I'm using that as like lip prep. So first off, we're gonna start with the base, and I'm really excited because we're gonna use the new Rare Beauty Tinted Moisturizer. So I have the shade 14W. Ooh, it's very liquidy. I'm gonna use my Rare Beauty foundation brush. Okay, it spreads out super easily. That was a very nice texture. Okay, so I only applied it to this half of my face first, and I have to say I'm really liking it so far. It has a slightly radiant finish, but it's nothing too like greasy or glowy. And it's very thin on the skin. So I have some redness under my nose, and you can see that it does cover it a little bit, but obviously some of it's peeking through. I also have pretty bad dark circles, and this really brightened it up and just like evened that area out a lot. So yeah, I'd say that it's like a light to light medium coverage. But yeah, I feel like this is like perfect for every day. So I'm gonna apply it to the other side. It kind of has a smell to it, not a fragrance. Like I don't think there's any added fragrance, but I don't know if it's like the sunscreen in it. It has like a mild foundation-y or like sunscreen-y smell. Okay, I really like how that's looking so far because it just looks super natural. Has that slight natural radiance, but it's nothing too much, especially if you have oily skin like I do. And the coverage to me is perfect for a skin tint. It definitely perfects the skin and it doesn't look like you did nothing, you know? Okay, so I'm gonna go into my Bobbi Brown color corrector, and this is in the shade Light Bisque. So this has been my favorite color corrector recently. I just feel like it's the perfect peachy pink shade for my skin tone. Like I find that a lot of color correctors for like light or fair skin being a little bit too pink. They need to be more of a true like pinky peach or like salmon-y color, but then also have it be light enough for my skin. So I feel like this one is really doing it. You can kind of see the difference here between the color corrected versus not. Okay, and now we're gonna go into the Kosas Revealer Concealer. So this one is in the shade 1N. The one I had before is 1.5N. Then I was like, oh, I've been getting paler recently. So I was like, maybe I should get a lighter shade. But this one I feel like is a little bit yellow for my taste. It's supposed to be neutral. Well, I don't know. What do you guys think? I guess it's neutral, but yeah, also because I like a kind of brightening concealer. I don't mind it being like a little bit lighter than my skin tone. But I just feel like it's a little bit yellow. But that might be because I tend to pick pinker concealers, specifically for my under eyes because it has that like brightening effect. But yeah, love this concealer formulation. It goes perfectly with Kosas Revealer foundation. It also goes really nicely with these types of skin tints, like the Rare Beauty one. So I'm just gonna let that set for a minute. In the meantime, I'm gonna do my eyebrows. So I'm just gonna go in with my trusty BBH Brow Wiz. Okay, now I'm just gonna blend out my concealer. This concealer is just so creamy and it blends out super easily. Okay, now I'm going into my Makeup by Mario brow gel and just gonna brush up my brow hairs a little so they don't like flop down. Okay, I really like how the base is looking so far. Oh yeah, and I also wanted to mention, I also picked up this IT Cosmetics CC Nude Glow Color Correcting Medium Coverage Skin Tint. So this is their new like skin tint foundation product that they just released. I already tried this a couple times and I actually really like it. I feel like it's actually kind of similar to this Rare Beauty one. Since I'm reviewing the Rare Beauty one today, I'm not going to include it in today's video, but maybe I'll include it in my next Get Ready With Me because I actually really like this. If you've been wondering about this, it's basically like the IT Cosmetics CC cream, but just less coverage. So the original IT Cosmetics CC cream, I really like that product. It's super super creamy, super high coverage, and I feel like it just glides over texture and like perfects your skin. But sometimes that one's like a little bit too full coverage. Like that one's quite full coverage. This one's like that, but if you just tone down the coverage a little bit. So yeah, this is definitely a medium coverage skin tint like they claim. So yeah, highly recommend if you want a more medium coverage skin tint. Okay, so now for the most iconic part of this video, we're gonna go into the Patrick Ta Rose palette. First of all, let's take a look at the packaging. It is so beautiful. It's his regular like reflective packaging, but then he has this rose border around it, so it's super pretty. Look at these beautiful rosy tones. Stunning. As soon as I saw the promo pics, I was like, yep, I'm picking that up. The original was so good. I especially loved the glitter toppers. So when I saw that he was coming out with a rose tone palette, which is like, I tend to wear rosy colors more than browns anyway. So I was like, this is a yes. Okay, so let's get into live swatching these first actually. Let's start off with the mattes. Okay, this first matte shade I think is called Crush, and it's a very light peachy shade. It feels super smooth on my finger. I think this color is super pretty actually. It's a very light peach, but honestly, since it's deeper than my skin tone, I feel like it would be a nice, like almost transition shade. Okay, now going into Amour. I have to say this formula, super buttery smooth. Like you can tell that they're very high quality mattes. This one's definitely a warmer brown, but it kind of has like this rosy undertone to it. It's actually really pretty. Okay, now we're gonna go into this shade called Devotion. I keep on forgetting to swatch it in front of you guys. I'm just gonna build it up like looking at it because it just makes it easier. So actually it's a lot more rosy on my hand than I would have thought in the pan. Less mauve, more rose, like more red in it. I think it's just because the colors are like deep for my skin tone, so they pull warmer and darker. Now we're gonna go into this shade called Passion. So this is a nice ruddy brown, kind of like a terracotta shade. Sorry if my swatches are getting messy because I can't see when I'm swatching it to the camera. And then we're gonna swatch this shade, the deepest matte called Heartache. See there. It's actually quite buildable. Like I feel like it doesn't look that deep, but obviously you can build it to a deeper color really easily. So. And all the powders are super finely milled, like super smooth. Like as you can see, like the imprints are already disappearing. That's how soft of a formula it is. Yeah, actually my favorite two shades are probably the first three because they are a little bit warm, but they're not super warm. And I like that they all have this rosy undertone. Okay, now we're gonna go into the shimmers, which are my favorite part. So let's start off with this golden looking one called Adore. Oh my goodness. Stunning. Stunning. Okay, that one's definitely like full opacity, full pigment with one swipe. Oh my goodness. I'm just gonna blend this out a little, but like, what? Stunning. Absolutely stunning. This one's a gold, but it has quite a rosy undertone to it. Like there's this peachy rose to it. And I love that it's like a glittery metallic, but not like chunky glitter, just like a lot of fine sparkles in it. So now moving into this shade called Romance. Ooh. Okay, so this one is a little bit more sheer, so I'm gonna go into it again. It's super easily built up, as you can see. And this one is super sparkly too. Oh my god. Wait, I'm in love with the sparkles right now. Okay, how would I describe this? I guess a rose gold. Like a peachy rose gold. So yeah, this one is a little bit more topper-like, but not like a true topper as in there's no base pigment. Like there definitely is base pigment, but it's just a little bit more sheer and glittery. Okay, next is this shade called Lust. Okay, so this shade is quite a strong duochrome. Hopefully you guys can see, but it's gold to pink. Let me see if you guys can see that. Yeah. So you see how it's like yellow gold and then it's like a fuchsia pink kind of. This one's gonna be probably the most transformative, I guess. Ooh, hopefully you guys can see how it changes on my finger. Going into this. Ooh, it's super smooth too. Okay, honestly, these formulas are kind of stunning me right now. Also, I will say that the first two shimmers that I swatched in the original were more like topper shades. Like they barely had base pigment, but these ones definitely have way more base pigment. It's more of like a true metallic plus those textured glittery sparkles that we all love. Yeah, this palette is giving in terms of the texture department. Look at this. And also this color is super stunning, super unique too. Like that yellow to fuchsia shift is very strong. Now moving on to this shade called Desire. Also, all of these are like love related. So I feel like maybe they meant to come out with this during Valentine's Day. Like it's a very Valentine's themed palette. Okay, and this one also seems kind of duochromy. Woo! Okay, this one's super impactful. As you can see, that was one swipe. The base pigment is super strong in this one. This is kind of like a red hot fiery coral with some pretty gold glitters in it. And the last shimmer is the shade called Affair. This one's a very deep purpley shimmer. Again, super pigmented. It kind of also has this duochrome quality to it. It's a darker, almost like black base, and then it has this berry maroon shift. The shimmers in this palette honestly have me stunned. Like, they're super high quality. And now I'm gonna go into the two creams. So I'm gonna swatch the lighter one first, called Loyal. Very creamy. They like melt upon contact with your finger. So yeah, super opaque, very smooth formula. These are really good base, especially for those more glittery shades. I can kind of tell that it's like drying down because when you first dip your finger into it, it's super melty, kind of like when butter melts when you touch it. But then as it dries down, as you can see, it's more matte. So it definitely does dry down. I feel like it's a pretty innovative formula. Now, the last shade. This is a shade called Unfaithful. This is like a chocolate brown. Ooh. I really like this shade. It actually really reminds me of chocolate. Like, it's that perfect chocolatey brown and doesn't really have a strong undertone. I mean, I guess it's slightly warm, but yeah, I especially love this Loyal shade. Like, it's the perfect like lighter pinky nude shade. So here's the whole palette swatched. As you can see, like, the shimmers are super impactful. And overall, I have to say, this is definitely a very warm tone palette. I feel like it's warmer than what I would have wanted in terms of my personal color preferences. But I feel like this is going to be absolutely stunning on deeper skin tones, especially like medium to deep skin tones. Because I feel like these colors will pull more like of a true rose on them. Whereas on me, it definitely has a more red undertone. Just keep that in mind if you have like paler skin. But yeah, formula-wise, I literally do not have a single complaint. Honestly, I think these formulas, specifically the shimmers, are even better than in the first palette. And the first palette was already really good. Okay, so I'm gonna start off with the lightest shade called Crush. I'm just gonna use that as a transition, kind of just all over the crease. So this is actually a really good transition shade if you have fair skin. On deeper skin, it's gonna be like a primer shade. But this is deep enough to go in the crease for me. I feel like if you just use this and one of the shimmers, you could just have a really nice everyday natural look. And then I'm just gonna run that same shade along the bottom lash line. Okay, now to build some depth, I'm gonna go into this shade more, and I'm also gonna use that in the crease. So far, everything's blending super smoothly. This is just a really good formula, guys. Then I'm gonna go into this rosy shade called Devotion, and I'm gonna put that in the outer, whoa. Okay, that was more pigmented than I was used to. So I'm just gonna put this on the other side too. And we're gonna blend it out. But yeah, you can see how like easily that blended out. I think I'm gonna try to use this cream shade called Loyal. I don't think I'm gonna go into the dark one today, but I wanna use this over my eyelid as a base, just so we can help the glitters stick. Actually, this shade by itself is really pretty too. It's like it has like a creamy color to it. So that's stunning. Now I'm gonna go into this duochrome shade called Lust, and I think I'm gonna try to make this the main color. So I'm just gonna put this all over my eyes. Hopefully you guys can see the duochrome. I'm putting this like all over my eyelid, basically. Oh yeah, and that built up really nicely. I'm gonna add some of this shade called Romance, and since this was a little bit sheer from what I remember, I'm just gonna add this in the center. It's like a topper shade. This one's really pretty. It also makes the look a little bit more pinky, like a pinky champagne kind of. I'm gonna try to add a little bit of this corally shade called Desire. I'm gonna add that to the outer corner just to try to incorporate it a little bit. So hopefully you guys can see that. I just want to incorporate as many shades as possible in this eye look. Honestly, a shimmery outer corner looks really cool because like when you turn your head to the side, you can kind of see it. Now on the lower lash line, I think I'm gonna go into a little bit of this shade. Maybe mix these two to just deepen bottom lash line. Especially on the outer part to kind of bring that in a little. And then I want to go into this gold glittery shade, and I'm just going to try to use that on the inner corner. Honestly, all these colors are going super well together, and you can see how impactful that is. I love that like I don't have to make the shimmer work to show up, because in a lot of other palettes sometimes you have to do that, or like to build multiple layers, but these are like immediate impact. And again, I can't stop repeating that I love that these are like glittery shimmers and just so like twinkly and eye-catching. I'm gonna add some of the pinker topper shade and put that in the center right here. I don't know, just add some extra sparkle. Okay, now we're on to the last step. So I'm gonna use this dark brown shade as a shadow liner. Now that that's all done, I'm gonna go off camera and do my mascara really quick, and then I'll be right back. Okay, now I'm back with the eyes all done. I zoomed you guys in a little so you can see better, hopefully. Okay, so I just want to give some final thoughts on this palette. I feel like all the looks are going to be quite similar. Obviously, you can have some variety with the different shimmers and things like that, but generally speaking, you're going to get this type of look. So if you like these colors, then I would 100% recommend picking this palette up, especially if you have like a medium to deeper skin tone. I feel like this would look amazing on you, and if you like rosier tones. But if you have a fairer skin tone like me, it pulls very red on the eyes, so that kind of depends on what you like in terms of color story. I really want Patrick Ta to come out with like a cool toned or like a mauve-y palette. That would be literally chef's kiss, especially because this formula is actually so good. Like, I know this palette is a little bit pricey, but the formula is definitely worth the price in my opinion. But yeah, just make sure that you like these colors that come in the palette. I feel like the shimmers are quite special because they're very impactful, yet they're very glittery, but in a sophisticated way. They just make your eyes sparkle. So that's about all my thoughts on this palette. I actually think I like this palette more than his original one, which is this one, just because I think the colors are more interesting, especially the shimmers. Okay, now moving on to blush. First, I have these new Mercier Tinted Moisturizer Blushes, and they come in like this mini tinted moisturizer tube, so they're really cute. So I have the shades Provence and La Piscine. So Provence you can get at Sephora, but I got La Piscine on the Mercier website because this is exclusive to her website. Most of the shades are at Sephora, but a couple of them are like exclusive to the Mercier website. Provence is like this more brownie nude, whereas La Piscine is a pinkier nude. Did I need both? Probably not, but those are like the two tones that I'm drawn to the most. So I'm gonna apply these to the cheeks first. I'm going in with Provence first. So I just apply it directly, and then I'm using this brush to just tap it out. So as you can see, it's a very sheer formula, and it definitely feels like a tinted moisturizer. Also, it feels kind of cooling when you apply it to the skin. It blends out super easily. And I actually wore this over a matte foundation the other day, and it didn't pick up the matte foundation. So, I mean, I don't know if it's just because the matte foundation was really good, because I used the Estee Lauder Double Wear one, which is like matte, but this didn't pick that up, even though it's a very like glowy emollient formula. You can see how it added that extra dew. So I'm not gonna layer it too much. Normally, if I were just wearing this, I would probably do another layer, but I'm gonna add some other blushes on top of this. So we're just gonna leave it like this. And then on this side, I'm gonna use La Piscine, which is the pinkier one. And honestly, these are probably gonna end up looking very similar. Well, no, hopefully you can see that this one is a lot pinker. I just had to get this shade, even though it's kind of inconvenient to order like on a separate website. It's such a nice, pretty like baby pink. So for these new Mercier Tinted Moisturizer Blushes, I have to say that they're a little bit sheerer than what I prefer in a blush. That's also because I just like a really blushy look. Also, specifically the shades I picked up were the lightest, most nude shades, so they are gonna be light, but I'm also pretty fair right now, so this is how it shows up on me. If you have a deeper skin tone than me, I feel like they're not gonna show up that much. But hopefully you can see this is cooler toned and this is warmer toned, so I have one for each. This is really great for those like no makeup days, and you can see how it added that glow, which is really nice, but it doesn't feel tacky or super heavy on the skin. It just feels like it absorbed into my skin like a tinted moisturizer, I guess. And yeah, it just like gave a nice hydrated look. So I really do like how these look, but I wish that they were a little bit more pigmented for my taste. But if you don't like a super blushy look, or you just want it to look super natural, I think you'll really like this. Now I'm gonna go in with this Peachgasm light wand. So to be honest, I got this when I ordered like a bunch of stuff off of the Charlotte Tilbury website with the Pillow Talk Party collection, which I have a review up on my channel if you haven't seen it yet. But yeah, Peachgasm is also sold at Sephora, so I'm including it in this haul because I've also never used this before. So I already had Pinkgasm, but I wanted to branch out into more of these spotlight ones because I know obviously they're super popular. They went viral on TikTok, and I just wanted to collect more of them because also look at that glow that it's giving. It's definitely giving. Now, these are gonna highlight texture a little bit, like if you're very self-conscious about that, but everyone has skin texture, so I feel like there's nothing to be self-conscious about. But like anything glowy, anything really glowy is gonna highlight texture. So I feel like it doesn't like super emphasize texture, but it's just like if you add any glow, it's gonna show with the texture rather than like a mattifying product. But I really like how that looks, and this is a very subtle peachy glow. I'm super into these Charlotte Tilbury Beauty Light Wands right now, because like look at that glow, like that just emphasized it so much more. But I feel like it still looks more natural than like a powder highlight would, even though it is very, very glowy. Also, I'm kind of bringing this up to my temples to kind of drape it and also help make it look more one with my face. But yeah, I probably wouldn't wear this on days like if I were to have acne here or just like extra bumps. I probably wouldn't wear it. But like when my skin is a little bit clearer, I feel like this is really nice. Like look how glowy that looks. It's giving me glass skin. I feel like the blush I have right now really ties in with the eyes because it's like warm tone and rosy. So it's making the eyeshadow look more at home on my skin. Okay, so this look looks really good with this gloss, but I'm gonna remove it and show you some of the other lip products I bought. Okay, so I foundationed over my lips a little because they looked a little bit red. Okay, so the lip product I bought during the sale is this Hourglass Velvet Story. So I saw this TikToker that I follow say she really liked this formula. I also saw some Korean and Taiwanese beauty YouTubers using this. So I was like, maybe it's actually good because I've never heard like anybody talk about these in the West. And I wanted to try out these nude shades. But honestly, I tried them out like directly after I got them. And I feel like the shades were not doing it for me. But we'll see now with a full face of makeup because I had like a bare face at the time. These are like the two lightest nude colors in that collection. So this is in the shade Touch. And why is it more brown than I thought it would be? Do you see how like that's not really doing anything for my complexion? Now this formula seems really good. It's very moussey. I feel like it has this blurring quality to it. It is a little bit thick though. Try not to add too much product, and then I feel like blending it out with your finger like this makes it better. I feel like this color is a lot browner and almost like orangey on me than I thought it would be. But let me know what you guys think. Like I'm not sure if I'm gonna return it or not because I feel like it's not giving what needed to be gave. But I don't know, it just seems to have some kind of like almost yellowy undertone to it. I feel like it's not the most flattering, but at the same time I kind of like it. I'm not sure how I feel about it. Okay, so now I'm gonna remove this and try the other one I got. Okay, so now I'm back and I want to try this shade called Hint. So this is gonna be like a very light pinky nude. Like it's even lighter than the other shade. So I was thinking like this would be a good base color. Like, yeah, you can see how nude that is. Yeah, this does not look that good by itself. It feels very comfortable for a matte lipstick, and also it's not super matte. Like it's not one of those that dries down, but it doesn't have any added shine. So just to make this color deeper a little bit, I'm gonna go in with this Clio Dewy Blur Tint. This is in the shade Nude Breeze. So yeah, obviously you can't get this at Sephora, but I just wanted to use this one. I just use it as a gradient, but you can use any like peachy lipstick. I kind of want this lip to be glowy though, so I'm gonna add some of the Pistachio Milky Jelly. I feel like my lips are really dry today, so I want to add some hydration. And I feel like actually the gloss looks good with the glossy cheeks and the shimmery eyelid. I'm gonna take out my hair clips. Okay, so before I go and do the wear test, I want to powder my face a little. I'm gonna use my trusty Laura Mercier powder. This is like my default powder. As an oily skin person, I'm never gonna not powder. Like if I'm going out or doing a wear test, because it's gonna be my default to powder, specifically only in my T-zone, because I get oily in my T-zone, but I'm more normal skin everywhere else. And I do really like a glow, so I tend not to powder like my cheek area, but my nose, my cheeks right here, right next to my nose, and then also like in between my eyebrows and kind of my forehead area, just so that we can ensure the longevity. And it helps blur texture too. So yeah, that is looking a lot more airbrushed and just perfected, but you can still see how I have a lot of glow going on. I also need to powder my under eyes because I forgot to do that earlier. So I'm gonna go in with my Pat McGrath powder. You can also get this at Sephora. This isn't new, it's just one of my favorite under eye powders. This is just gonna make sure our concealer doesn't crease, and also to ensure that my mascara doesn't transfer onto the bottom lash line. I find that powdering really helps that. And then lastly, my Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Setting Spray. Look at how much of a dent I've made in her. But I was gonna repurchase during the sale, and she's been sold out since before the sale, and she's still sold out. So I'm like, when am I gonna purchase her again? I don't know. I don't even think she's gonna come back in stock before the sale ends. But anyway, this is my favorite setting spray if you don't know already. I think it just makes my makeup last longer, and it's really good at kind of melting the powdery look down if you have added too much powder. Okay, so here's the final look. What do we think? I really like how it turned out. Everything looks super cohesive and glowy. So I'm gonna do a wear test. I'm probably gonna wear this whole face for about 8 hours, hopefully. So I'll see you guys then. Hi besties, now I'm back after 8 hours. It's currently 11:30 at night, and I just wanna show you what the face is looking like. Honestly, it's looking super good for 8 hours. So I'm gonna zoom you guys all the way in. Okay, so hopefully you guys can see. I definitely am a little bit oilier here in the T-zone. Like my forehead is a bit shinier than it was earlier. Like this glow was not there before, but now it's there. I feel like that looks good. The main area that kind of changed the most is right here on my nose. Hopefully you guys can see, like I didn't add any nose highlighter, but it's definitely like glowing at the tip. I get the oiliest right here, kind of like in my smile lines. So to get a little bit oily here, as you can see, but nothing crazy. Like I would still feel very comfortable going out like this in public. My preference would be to touch up a little bit by now. I could literally just take like a blotting sheet or take my beauty blender and just pat it in, or I could also repowder a little bit. None of that I feel like is necessary at this stage. There's definitely a little bit more shine than I would like in certain areas, but overall it's still looking really good. The only slight problem area that I want to point out is kind of like in my little nose crevice right there. I feel like some foundation built up that might be avoided if I just like made sure not to put too much foundation there. But yeah, honestly, very impressed with the wear time, but I'm not super surprised because when it first went on, it wasn't like that super radiant glow. So it makes sense that over time it became more glowy, but it's nothing crazy. I feel like most skin types would get along with this. And also, yeah, like the cheeks and the eyeshadow all stayed on very well. There honestly like isn't really any fading at all. So I'm very impressed with basically all the products I used today. The only fail I would say is the lip colors that I ordered. I just feel kind of iffy about the specific shades. But besides that, I just love how everything looks. And I'm going on a trip to New York tomorrow for the weekend, so I'll definitely bring some of these products along with me. So let me know what you guys think about this look in the comments, and whether or not you want to try out the Rare Beauty foundation, the Patrick Ta palette, or just anything else I tried today. And yeah, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you like this video, and comment and subscribe down below if you want to see more content like this, because it really helps out my channel and it would really mean a lot to me. And I'll see you all in my next video. Bye!